Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Software Engineer K, and today we've got quite a lot of cool stuff to go through. We have the new drop updated and confirmed, so I just wanted to go into a deep dive of that, exactly what we could be expecting. We also had a few incidences with some community members regarding some NFTs that were removed from their account, so I just wanted to address that and just make that super clear, just for those who have some kind of confusion around that. And we did see a huge market pullback today, so I just wanted to address some of the issues surrounding that, some of the concerns, and exactly what we can look forward to next. So firstly, if we just go straight into the drop now, David Yu, he did announce out on the 26th we will get a drop. So again, this week was another drop. We had the Givenchy drop, and now we are having another drop. So let's just have a look at this. Okay, now a couple of interesting things there. We know that it is a DC Comics Bombshells drop, and it specifically said that there are 2 collectibles. So what that implies to me is one of those collectibles, just because you're only dropping 2, it could be another one where you only need 1 to complete the set, or it could be a set of 2 collectibles, which I don't think we've seen yet. We haven't seen a 2 collectible set. We've seen one with Starfire, Superman, and we have seen 4, but I'm not sure about 2. So what could it be? Well, if you have a look at my previous video where I covered Cryptozoic, I said that some of the licenses have co-licenses. So DC is a license shared between Cryptozoic and VeVe. And this is one of the type of DC bombshells, but this is a type which I don't believe we're going to be getting, just because if you have a look, the logo version is different. These are kind of like the DC comic bombshells, but the miniature ones. But I believe we will be getting these in the future, just because if you have a look at the demo app of VeVe that David Yu and Dan Crover's demoed, they had the Cryptozoic version of DC Comics Bombshells, and you can also see some more references to this further in the video as well. So I believe this is not the version that we're getting. What I believe we will get is one of the versions that we saw in season 1. So this Big Barda, this is one that we have already, and we also have the Starfire as well, which is a 1 collectible set. So what could we be getting? Well, we know that there's Mirror, but we had Mirror recently with the DC Cover Girls drop, so I don't believe we're going to be getting Mirror. What would be cool is if we got Stargirl. I think Stargirl would be a pretty cool one. Huntress as well. And who's this? This is Zatanna. So Zatanna, if those of you aren't aware, if you've seen Constantine, then you probably know who Zatanna is. I think this is Vixen. Yes, Vixen. And who's this? Batgirl? I think this is Batwoman. Okay. And yeah, there are some other ones as well, but I believe Wonder Woman. Okay, I think Wonder Woman would be a pretty cool one to get, just because we can pair it with Big Barda. I'm not really a fan of this version of Wonder Woman though. It's not really a style that I like, but I believe this is the version of DC Cover Girls that we are getting now. Sorry, Bombshells. Now, I believe we also had a couple of incidences today regarding some of the terms of service regarding collectibles which were removed from people's accounts. Now, here is an email that someone in the community received, and they just sent it over. Now, it reads as, I know you have purchased the items legitimately and you are not at fault, but we believe we must do everything in our power to assist the victims, just as we do the same for you. We are now in the process of returning the stolen collectibles to their rightful owners, and the affected items have been transferred back to them from your account. In your case, the collectibles we needed to return were Harley Quinn number 19. As you are not at fault, I want to ensure you are compensated for the collectibles we needed to return from your account. Because you've purchased the items outside of the VeVe platform, I will need you to show evidence of the transaction so we can correctly refund you. Okay, there are quite a few things to address there. So, firstly, if we look at this from a cryptocurrency point of view now, the point of cryptocurrency, or a massive point of it around the whole ideology of decentralization, is a third party can't interfere with your assets. And that goes either way. You can store your assets how you want. You are wholly responsible for it. At the same time, if someone scams you, then tough luck, that's your fault. A third party isn't going to help you. Now, contrast that to a bank. If you get scammed, a bank can do things like chargebacks. They can try and recover your money for you. That is the point of having them as a third party. But at the same time, if you want to make a purchase, a bank can block your purchase. So it is a double-edged sword. And what VeVe has done is they've kind of taken the stance of the bank in this case. So I would say that this is probably more beneficial than detrimental to VeVe. Because if you think of it this way, right, VeVe is doing something that no other company is doing, not just in crypto, but none that I can think of just in general. They are helping people who have been scammed outside of the app recover their assets. Now, think of it this way, right? You go and buy an iPhone from the Apple Store, and someone down the road or wherever, they rob you of your iPhone. You can't just go back to Apple and say, hey, someone robbed my iPhone, can you give me a new iPhone? It just doesn't work like that. But VeVe essentially, whilst trading outside of the app, really, they're not at liberty to even help you, because you've been participating in transactions outside of the app, but they're still helping people get their assets back. And they don't have to do that. And on top of that, if you have been innocent, if you're just someone who, innocently purchased this off of someone else and you paid gems for it, they are also compensating the users who unknowingly purchased this, and they're compensating you on however many gems that you spent on it or whatever it is. And that's something that they really don't have to do. I can't think of any cryptocurrency company that compensates users for something that they lost due to their own negligence. And even more so, paid a third, a seller outside of the app who had done the scamming. It's like if you have Ethereum and you spend that Ethereum investing into a rug pull ICO, and they run off with your Ethereum. You can't go to Vitalik Buterin and be like, hey, I lost my Ethereum in a scam, can you give me some more Ethereum? Like, it would not happen. So I believe that this is more beneficial than detrimental, but at the same time, people really need to be aware of the risks of trading on a market outside of the app. If it's on the app, issues like this get resolved so much faster. They can see exactly who transacted with who and how much gems were transacted. They can just easily, do the refunding, get people's collectibles back, whatever it is. But if it's outside of the app, then you have to kind of go through this long-winded process. And now people question, why did it take them so long to do this? Well, if you think about it, they have to do, anyone can just say, hey, I was scammed, and they may not have been scammed. So they have to do loads of investigation, and if there are multiple parties involved, then it just drags it on even longer. And at the same time, people questioned, hey, why was my NFT just randomly pulled from my account? I should have been given warning that they're going to be removing my NFT. And the reason for that should be pretty obvious. If you are a genuine scammer and VeVe is giving you, 24 hours warning that they're going to be removing an NFT from your account, you can literally just transfer it somewhere else or sell it on the market or whatever. It's just going to make it even more difficult. And as we move over to Immutable X, people can move their NFTs off of the platform. And VeVe has said, once that happens, then that's it, you're out of luck. They can't do anything, because then it is completely out of their jurisdiction. Now, I believe that with that happening, because the move to Immutable X is going to come, people at that point need to become a lot smarter with how they're transacting. You need to properly do your due diligence, because at that point, VeVe won't be able to help you if you do get scammed. And I believe, it would be beneficial for VeVe to just make it really, really clear that they are going to kind of be not able to help you as much, but really you shouldn't be transacting on a marketplace outside of VeVe because of these risks. So I just wanted to make that super clear, that those who did suffer from their NFTs being removed from their account due to being involved in a scam, those people are they understand what's happened, and because of the fact that they are getting compensated, they're not like, hating on VeVe. They kind of understand, the risk that they took, and now they understand what can happen, but at the same time they are getting compensated. So it has, it is pretty fair. I think VeVe's going above and beyond. They're going way out of their way to, compensate people that were scammed, people who had purchased it from the scammer. They don't have to do any of this, to be honest. Just like, an Apple store doesn't have to refund you if you get your iPhone stolen by someone. So it's the exact same concept here. Now, what I did also want to touch on is we had an interesting pullback in the market. So China, they have announced that they are banning, well, they announced they were banning Bitcoin a while back, but now that they are shutting down a lot of these Bitcoin mining companies, these mining rigs. But what has happened is these Bitcoin miners that were shut down in China, they have started moving their equipment over to Kazakhstan, and they've also, although it doesn't say in this article, they have started moving their equipment over to Texas as well, US, which is quite an interesting one, because Texas is where Tesla has establishing a gigafactory, and they acquired a company, I believe, Solar City, which kind of tells you in the name that it's to do with solar energy, renewable energy, and they are working in Texas to kind of develop that. So the fact that a lot of Bitcoin mining equipment has moved over from some of the biggest miners, and Tesla is also working on some renewable energy development in Texas as well. I believe there is some overlap, some mutual benefit there for Tesla to get involved, and that is purely speculation, so don't take my word on it, but it's just an interesting coincidence that I noticed. But I believe, once these Bitcoin miners are back up and running within, countries outside of China, we're going to see all of the FUD die down. Bitcoin's going to resurge, and I believe it is going to follow that Wyckoff pattern perfectly. So if you aren't familiar with the Wyckoff pattern, do take a look at that. It should kind of start to put what's happening in the market into a bit more perspective. But on that point, OMI, we did see a huge dip, which kind of tracked what was happening with Bitcoin. Other coins had huge pullbacks as well. XRP kind of went back to the price it was back in March. So again, it's like a pretty good buy right now. But following that, if we just go over to the hourly chart. Okay, now we saw some huge buy orders come in right when it dipped to approaching that 0.11, 0.12 cent range. And if we have a look at these hourly candles, the volume of it was over 170 million, which is ridiculous. That's more than half of Ecomi's total market cap. And if we just bring that over to the 4-hourly chart, we can see that this 4-hour candle here had over $500 million worth of volume. That is like double what Ecomi's market cap is in one single 4-hour candle. So that goes to show that although people think, hey, Ecomi's price has been coming down a lot, interest has not died. There are clearly people who have buy orders set up, clearly very wealthy individuals, or groups in this case, that are interested in OMI, and they are watching it. And you don't have to take my word for it or anything. I believe that there are going to be a lot more buy orders coming for OMI as the market recovers, and as we get those new exchanges, as we get more users onboarded into VeVe, as the number of drops per week ramps up, because we are now starting to get 2 drops a week, and that is just going to contribute to the burn at these extremely low prices. So I think that is pretty cool, because now we know that buybacks are also confirmed. So I am pretty hopeful. I am going to be having a buy order for OMI tomorrow evening. Whatever price is around this range, I'll probably just pick it up, just because I don't want to play around with pending buys at such low levels. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to go through to you guys today. I will keep you guys updated with anything else I find out. And like as always, please do like and subscribe to support the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.